This is Richard.
Hey, Richard, Ed Olson here. You worked on that office building for me over on 5th and Main.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Ed, how you doing?
Well, actually, my wife was in a car accident a couple of weeks ago, and she's a quad. She broke her neck.
I'm sorry. Is she okay? I mean, is she paralyzed?
Yeah. You know, the doctor says she's going to be in a wheelchair now, and we're going to need ramps and a special shower and all kinds of stuff. And I don't know what to do. Can we stay in our house? Do we have to move? Richard, I need your help.
What would you say next? All too often, people receiving a phone call like this have a tendency to hang up and not call back. It's too unusual a project, too awkward, too uncomfortable to struggle to find the right words. But if you take up the challenge, it can be the most rewarding work you do. I mean, how often do you get to create an environment that truly promotes a person's independence, that restores someone's privacy and dignity, or that helps make the most of a person's abilities? It can happen. It all begins with a willingness to focus on the client first. If you're new to all this, it may be challenging at first to overcome old assumptions.
The first assumption is that because I'm in a wheelchair and cannot talk, therefore, I probably cannot think and make my wants and needs known. Some people tend to talk baby talk to me, which totally turns me off.
You know, people will do anything to avoid saying see, look, watch, visual words like that. I wish they'd just get over it. Then the other word they don't want to say is blind, like I don't know.
Very important to focus on my abilities and not my disabilities. We don't want to be focusing on the hearing aid. We want to focus on John.
I think I give the person a pretty good chance to get to know me and the way I communicate before I give up on them. It depends on the person's understanding of me as to how long it takes to really become comfortable, and we can get down to business of real talking.
Understanding your clients and getting down to business and real talking is what this program is all about. Today we'll discuss some of the communication issues you might face as you start asking your standard assessment questions. We'll talk about the value of adding medical professionals to your team, and we'll help you find out what your clients need, what their abilities are, and how they may interact with the built environment. Taking the client assessment to the up-close and personal level lays the foundation for design that works. Like with any other project, you'll probably start with a phone call.
Hi, Ed. This is Richard calling back about setting up a walkthrough at your house.
Oh, great. Let me just grab my book.
I'm looking at my calendar here, and Wednesday looks good for me. Is that still good for both of you?
Sure, absolutely.
In addition to the usual information, this is a good time to start getting a feel for the attitudes of your clients. Do they seem matter-of-fact and upfront, perhaps distraught, in denial about their disability? If you're going into an emotionally charged situation, it helps to be prepared. This is also a good time to clarify any communication issues your clients might have. Do they have a hearing loss, a vision loss? Has a stroke made speech difficult? Are there cultural differences or a language barrier? Getting as much pertinent information as you can up front is invaluable. Guy is a contractor about to meet Alan and Sharon for the first time. Up until now, he's been mostly communicating with them via email.
Is it a lot of work to find the buttons and to punch the yes, no, really? Kind of, it seems like it'd wear you out.
I have 3 or more icons I push for each word or sentence.
There are lots of different communication tools out there, ranging from the complex to the simple.
And Alan's is pointing to a letter, and then I got to spell it out? Yes, okay, that makes it good. C, D, U.
Good communication is critical to building rapport with your clients and to understanding their needs.
I'll be talking to you over a telecommunication device for the deaf, a TTY.
When communicating with a person with a disability, it may take longer, so it helps to be patient. Never pretend you understand a person who has a difficult time talking. Keep asking questions until you understand what the person is trying to say.
F, L, O, O, bathroom floor. Okay.
A person may communicate with the letter board. Ask the person if you should say each letter as he or she is pointing to each letter or number. The person may just want you to repeat each word as he or she spells it out.
You can learn more about special communication needs by talking to your clients and through local resources such as hearing, speech, and deafness centers, vocational rehab programs, and support groups for specific illnesses and injuries. What would you guess is your biggest communication barrier? For a lot of us, it's the plain old fear of saying something stupid. Well, been there, done that. It can happen to anyone. The best prevention is to just relax, be yourself, and really listen to your clients. Keiko has asked Susan to look at her house for a possible remodel. Keiko, who's blind, shares the house with her husband, one of her daughters, and her father, who's in his 80s.
Hi, Keiko. Susan with Adaptations.
Come on in.
How are you?
Okay, good.
Thank you so much for having me come over today. Really appreciate that.
Thank you.
It's so nice and cold out today. All bundled up, ready to go for winter.
Yeah.
I noticed you have your slippers here. Would you like me to put those on?
If you don't mind, I appreciate that.
I brought along my business card for you as well.
Oh, thank you.
In addition to getting project specifics, Susan is also learning about family dynamics that may affect design.
You know, my dad, he does a lot of stuff for us in the home right now. He does the cooking and shopping and then the gardening.
Being welcomed into someone's home can provide great insight into how your clients live their lives and what's important to them.
Is this your family shrine?
Yes.
Oh, it's beautiful. Does everybody use the shrine in the family?
Yeah, we use it on a daily basis to offer incense.
Take this chance to be observant and try to visualize exactly how the spaces are used. Resist the temptation to jump right into the problem-solving mode and listen first to your client's needs and wants.
This is a good-sized bathroom. Some of the things, Keiko, that we take into consideration in a bathroom as it relates to access is how much clearance we need adjacent to the commode and then being able to...
This initial walkthrough is your chance to demonstrate your professionalism, show good listening skills, and gain the client's trust.
Susan, this is my dad, Mr.
Maruco.
Nice
to meet you, Mr. Maruco. Thank you.
It can also be a good time to plant a few ideas that the client might not have been thinking about.
As long as we're right here with the bedroom and the study and the bathroom, potentially one of the things we could consider, Keiko, is maybe putting a doorway here between the bathroom doorway and the study doorway.
Bringing here and...
Right, and doing just one doorway and then eliminating these doors. So it would be like an all-open sort of suite area. Would that be something?
It's never too early to get a sense of what your clients enjoy doing. That way you can ensure that future designs support those activities.
Does your father work in the garden here?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Does he spend quite a bit of time? So, Nami and Keiko, I sent you off the letter of agreement via email. Did you get that okay?
Yeah, we got that a couple of days ago, and I've got a print copy for him here, and I've got the Braille copy for me in case we had some questions.
Good. Did you have any questions that you'd like to review?
The only one thing that the completion date should be the January 31st instead of the December 31st.
Okay, so we'll extend it another month. That's no problem with me. So that would be great if you just want to initial that, cross that out and change the date, and then we'll all initial that. If that's okay with you too, Keiko?
Sure.
Good.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. Well, why don't I just do that? Like, just put my finger on it.
When providing contracts or other documents, you may need to provide them in alternate formats, such as larger font size or audio tape. Once you've formally established a relationship and gotten a sense of the scope of the project, you're ready to start the in-depth client assessment. Along with this tape, you received a sample form, which outlines some of the areas you'll want to investigate with your clients. medical equipment, special design needs based on abilities, and activities of daily living, or ADLs. Now, you won't go through every item with every client, and you'll probably want to make your own version. What's important is to develop a thorough, client-based assessment that works for you and use it. Brianna and her family have just started planning a custom home. Financed through Brianna's trust fund, the house will be designed to accommodate Bree throughout her lifetime, along with her family. Brianna was 3 when she was in a car accident and became paraplegic. Today she uses a manual wheelchair. Her father, Patrick, is well over 6 feet tall and has a history of back problems. Tammy lost one of her eyes in the same accident that paralyzed Brianna and had multiple leg fractures as well. And Amanda is beginning to need more privacy and room to have friends over, just like Bree.
I want to ask you a few questions about some equipment that you might need.
On this project, the designer has added an occupational therapist who's guiding the assessment. Working with medical professionals is a great way to ensure that you understand your client's needs and abilities and can anticipate future changes.
Then what I'll do at some point is I'll enter it into my software program that's going to print out a really great handout on potential equipment for your new home.
Their specialized knowledge and tools can be invaluable.
I was noticing your new wheelchair, you've got some new wheels, new rims. Pretty fancy. You like it?
Yeah.
When we talk about your wheelchair and other equipment like that, even maybe a pool chair or a shower chair, that'll be really important. Storage things for us to consider for your new home, too, okay?
Medical equipment of all kinds deserves your full attention. In order to plan well, you'll need to know just what medical equipment is used and how it works.
And is it a commode that goes over the toilet, or is it one that sits by your bed?
It sits inside my mom's bedroom.
Okay, it's on a special commode. Okay.
We have a real space issue with that. We have to keep the bow program chair, the commode, in our room, and I pick her up and put her onto the seat, and then when she's done, we put her back onto the floor or into the bathtub, wherever we're doing with her after that. And it's about a lift about 3 times a day, picking her up and putting her onto the bed or onto the commode. So.
Mobility equipment is obviously a huge consideration for layout, circulation, storage, and sometimes electrical needs. It can range from canes and walkers to wheelchairs, scooters, shower commode chairs, and transfer and lift systems of all sizes. The dimensions of the equipment and the abilities of the users vary and change. The best designs will provide enough room for clients to move as independently and safely as possible.
So tell me about Brianna's catheter kit storage.
The storage for her stuff is very much a problem. We receive many, I think 120 cath kits per month and 120 catheters, and that's come down a little bit, but the storage, we would use the hallway.
Medical supplies are also an issue. They come in all shapes, sizes, and quantities. Some insurance companies require that supplies be purchased in bulk. Knowing exactly how and where these items are used and how many of them are on hand at any one time will help you to create adequate and convenient storage.
So those were lots of questions about equipment. Let's talk about now some special needs that you see that you'd have in your house regarding your sensory, like your hearing, your vision, all of those kinds of things. I'm going to start with you, Amanda. And
the special needs part of the assessment focuses on your client's current and future abilities and any medical conditions which would impact design.
The next part that we go through then are the different physical and sensory areas. And the first one is vision. And so, Keiko, maybe you can help me understand where you are with light levels as it relates to your vision. Do you see contrast?
Yeah, I function really well in good contrast, high contrast, dark and white. I tend to have some appliances like black, and then the surfaces being very light, and dark wood and so forth. So that kind of keeps me going. And the other kind of things that I do use are like textural difference, and that's floor surface. So going from smooth surface to a kind of rough surface to a carpeted area, that really keeps me oriented to where I am. And the lighting piece is that I tend to function better under less light than the rest of the normally seeing people. So I kind of, look. I really don't need a lot of light in the first place to see, but I prefer dimmer light because it's really blinding when it's glaring into my eyes.
Those will be things then that we'll want to keep in the equation as we're going through the design elements. Name, Keiko had mentioned that lower light levels was good for her. Does that work for you to have less light then in the different rooms, in the kitchen, in the bedrooms and living rooms and such?
As long as, that the people...
Maintaining good eye contact, using open body language, and paraphrasing back answers to make sure you understood can help put the client at ease and make it more comfortable for them to share personal information.
Okay, so where do you read primarily? What rooms of the home do you primarily read in?
Living room, and also before going to bed.
Most clients want you to ask questions and are relieved to be able to talk frankly about their needs and abilities. Over time, it will become easier, even enjoyable, to get the information you need.
Do you need more light in your reading?
Not too much.
Not too much more. Okay, all right. So what about hearing? How's everybody doing with their hearing?
I'm okay.
Oh.
You got hearing aids.
Yeah, I got both sides.
On both sides and your hearing aids. So how are you doing with them?
Well, I can hear louder, that's all.
You can hear louder.
Mhm.
Okay. So is noise in the rooms and things, is that hard for you to talk through and work around?
No, not much difference.
Okay, not much difference. Okay.
As far as your reach ranges, do you have really good range of motion in your shoulders? Can you show me how you reach up overhead?
Reach way up to my hands.
Way up.
Way up here. Oh, press my hands.
Okay. Now, I noticed that when you reach, you hang on to one wheel of your chair. Do you need to do that for balance
No.
reasons? Okay, okay.
She has some issues when we put on clothes in the morning that if we're not quick to taking her shirt off, she'll catch herself with one hand.
Okay.
So we try and help her in that regard by maybe holding her back and helping her out, taking off her shirt.
People aren't always forthcoming about their abilities. Don't hesitate to probe a bit if you're not sure about the information you're getting, or raise the issue again at a later date.
Okay, so you mentioned your depth perception. How is that affected, say, like in your kitchen?
Mm-hmm.
I would be concerned about safety in the kitchen.
When I first started with learning the one-eye business, I would have to pour milk, and I would sometimes miss the cup. Today I still, at times, will, if I'm rushing myself, putting away the dishes, I will sometimes close the cupboard and, whack myself on the head.
Mm-hmm.
And there's times where I'll hold a basket of clothes to take upstairs, and I'll turn too quick and hit the wall. And so I've had a couple of bruises on my arms, but if it's lighted and I slow down a little bit, then those things don't tend to happen as much.
So basically slowing down and better lighting?
Much better lighting.
Now, in the garden area out in front, what kinds of tools do you use?
Being able to visualize your client's activities of daily living can make it easier to customize your design.
Let's talk about your dressing right now. And I know that your mom and dad are helping you a bit with that. Can you tell me how they need to help you at this point?
Well, just to put on my pants and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So are they rolling you side to side? And
Yep.
okay. Mom and Dad, how's that feel with you on your backs right now at this point as Brianna grows?
It's getting to be a little harder each day.
Yeah. Part of designing this new house is really going to be looking at work heights and things too for your mom and dad, so that it saves their back. It's called ergonomics and body mechanics and how you do different tasks the most safe way. Okay?
Okay. One of the things that we'll consider in the design is how much clearance, how much space there is around items that we need to be able to have access to, whether that's a place for your wheelchair to be able to have a place to park, or whether that's, your mom and dad or your sister to be able to have enough space for them to stand and help you maybe get dressed. That'll be a really important part of our design.
As you talk through the activities, check to see whether your clients use assistive devices or another person's support. Continually ask yourself, is there a safer way to do that activity, an ergonomic way? Do they really need that family member's help, or is it just part of the family dynamic? What design features might improve this person's independence? If you're not exactly sure what an activity looks like, consider asking your client to show you. Perhaps your design can make that activity safer or easier to do.
The next area I'd like to talk to you about then is the bathtub in the bathroom. And so first question would be, do you prefer to take a shower or do you prefer to take a bath?
Bath.
You take a bath?
Yes.
Okay. Are you finding that that's an okay activity for you to get in and out of the bathtub safely?
Yes.
So that's working okay for you. Do you see maybe potentially needing some assistance for yourself, you know, as years go on? Do you see needing some support?
I may, but right now.
Okay, right now you're doing good. Okay. Would that be something then that Keiko would be supporting you, or Mayumi, or Name in assisting?
Men.
Men, okay, so probably Name would be
Yeah,
supporting
right.
you. Okay, all right, good. The next element in the bathroom I'd like to talk to you about then is the toilet or the commode area. How are you doing getting on and off the commode?
Okay.
Doing okay. Would a grab bar, do you need a grab bar of any kind around the toilet area to help you?
No.
Okay, so that all of that's working good for you.
As you start to visualize the ways environment might physically support your client, don't forget the social side as well.
So when you're playing your piano, do you ever have friends over for a concert?
No.
No? Okay. How often do your friends come over? What kinds of things do you like to do?
Play Nintendo and watch TV.
Oh, okay.
But we really haven't had too many friends come over, have we?
Just Angel.
Just one time.
A few weeks ago.
That's kind of a space issue. So if we could design into our home a larger area for her to move around in with her friends, I think that she would be more active with them.
As you move further into the assessment and begin making recommendations, don't be surprised if you encounter a little resistance.
One of the things that I would recommend, Mr. Maruco, is that we look at changing the amount of light that you have in your study right now.
Oh, well, the light I have right now is sufficient for me right now. I'm getting old, you know, and 87 years old. So I don't need any change.
Well, I can appreciate that. I mean, I think change is a hard thing to see that happen. And I understand you are 87 and that you have lived a long life with the light levels that you have. I just understand that the eye itself, as we age, requires about 3 times more light than what we're used to needing when we're like 50 years old. So I'm going to recommend that we look strongly at changing at least your desk area for your light, if not the rest of the room.
Personally, I don't think I need any change in there, but you see, I can put more stronger lighting in there, just change a bulb, you know.
Okay, so you would
that would suffice for me.
So you would consider changing a light bulb wattage in there then? Okay, well that's a good compromise for now.
When a client says no to an idea that you know will improve their safety or comfort, try not to take it personally and don't give up. Change can be hard to face, especially among our older generations. Sometimes your most respectful option is to put the idea aside and revisit it later. The final element of the assessment is taking client measurements.
Well, one of the reasons why we have each one of you measured is so that we can make sure that we put the different things that you work with and play with in the home at the areas that you can get to them. So if it's your bookshelf, your closet rods, your light switches, whatever all of that is. And so we plan for today, and we also look for tomorrow and down the road. So we're really looking into the future and how the home's going to remain flexible for you in today's abilities and tomorrow's needs.
Depending on your client's stamina or attention span, it may make sense to schedule this for another day. There are lots of different measurements that can help guide design. Here are just a few. The eye level measurement, that is, from above the finished floor to the center of the eye, helps with the placement of controls, mirrors, artwork, and window heights.
I want you to relax your shoulder. Very nice.
Elbow height is critical for guiding grab bar placement and good work surface height. And for people using mobility equipment, Seat height determines the ideal transfer height for commodes, tubs, and furniture. The footrest measurement helps you plan for adequate toe kick space and sufficient wall and door protection. You'll also need to measure the amount of turning space your client uses. This varies widely, with some scooters taking over 7 feet to turn around.
The way we're going to do this is I'm going to put down a pin under your toes, and I'm going to have you turn around in a circle when I say go. And then when I say stop, you can stop and push back, so then we can measure between those 2 marks, okay? Great, all right. We'll do that. Okay, go. Nice turning. Okay, stop and pull back for me. Okay, what I see here is about 42 inches, which is just shy of 4 feet. So your turning radius is just a little less than 4 feet. But I think we're going to plan for 5 feet because you are going to grow. And with that, your turning radius is going to grow. Okay? Thank you.
And don't forget about other members of the household, particularly caregivers. Well, that about wraps it up. We'll look at more specific assessment questions room by room in the next 3 parts of this series. For now, it's time to get started, learning more about resources in your community and developing relationships with medical professionals. You might also want to invest in a good medical dictionary like this Tabor's for reference. Then, go for it. This approach to client assessment isn't easy, but if you're willing to get up close and personal with your clients, willing to arm yourself with information and an open mind, you'll be ready to create designs that truly put your clients first.
Richard. Ed. Good to see you again.
Good seeing you.
Thanks for coming by.
I really like your house here.
Thanks.
Really
Come on in.